Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel. I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. This is your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, and we get to do some research together. This is a variety show, so we're about everything. It's about politics, it's about gardening, it's about making your life better. We talk about emotions, we talk about all these things. My favorite is absolutely preserving food. So I have some videos I'm going to show you, but before we get started, take a look at this. This is the dried product of a tomato, okay? Right here, they're crispy. They're like a potato chip. You can actually eat these like a potato chip, and I love them. So I've got these that I turned into this. And these are fabulous. If I could imagine an Italian kitchen, it would smell like this. And these, you mix them with some olive oil. They're fantastic. You can put these on pizza. You can put them in salad. You can actually make sandwiches with these. These are awesome. So when we hit those cold winter months, and we're wishing we had tomatoes, guess what? I'm going to have some right here. Now, these will last the way they're made, and I'll show you in the description below in the video. You can see exactly how we did this. So I'm going to walk you through the process. Let's go ahead and get started right now. I don't want you to miss any of it. Hey everybody, this is Donna. Just wanted to show you what I do when I dry my tomatoes. Do you ever have just an overabundance of potatoes, and they're coming in all at the same time, and you don't know what to do with them? You don't have a whole lot of time. You can dry them, and then what you can do, it's called sun-dried, but I like to do mine, and I don't have to worry about so much about bugs and stuff like that, but I like to do mine in the dehydrator. And so I've already started a couple of trays, and I want to show you what I do to have them looking really pretty and dried. Later on, we're going to have another segment, and I'll be talking about putting those in some olive oil and how you rehydrate those. You can use them in pizza, you can use them in soups, you can use them in stews. But right now, I don't have a whole lot of time with all the tomatoes I have in. So let me show you real quick what I like to do. I like to use a serrated knife. Now, this is actually a steak knife, and I really like this because I feel like it gives it a more even cut. So I'm going ahead and move this out of the way. I have my little, I call it my little scrap bucket right here. This is where all this stuff right here is going to go into my compost bin. So this is what I like to do. Let's get this out of the way. And I cut this part right here off. I've already washed it. So I want to cut this off. And I'm going to save some of this, some of the seeds. Okay, these are some really good tomatoes right here. Look how big and beautiful and juicy that is. Is that not gorgeous? Okay, so I'm going to cut that part off. Now this is all you've got to do. Thin slices. Again, this is what works best for me. So I'm going to do the serrated knife, and I'm cutting it in very thin. You can do as thin or as thick as you want, just whatever works for you. And here we go. There's another one. These are going to be so beautiful. And yes, I leave the peel on it. And when you're peeling your tomatoes to death, I'll have to tell you what you're doing. You're peeling all kinds of nutrition away. Look at that, how beautiful and meaty that is. Okay, now I'm going to have to move some of these little, because some of these are just an overabundance of some of these tomatoes. And so I'm going to place them around in different areas. Okay. All right, now that one goes right there. See that? Now it's going to take about 2 days for these to dehydrate in this dehydrator. Okay, again, a thin slice, and there we go. Now, another thing I like to do, I like to use pepper and salt, but do the salt first. And so what I'm doing with the salt, I'm going to be using the sea salt. I just find that does better. Now, this is another important point right here. When you're dehydrating your tomato, look, these are little pink Russians. Oh, man, they are so good. I've been saving my seeds. And let's see, go ahead and start moving these around. So, yeah, I don't want them touching each other. They don't get along too well when they're touching. So what we're going to do is just make sure that I've got them separated really good. And then here's my other tray. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this one on there. And here I am. slicing more tomato. So let me go ahead and move this up just a smidge so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so again, thin slices. I won't get as many on this tray because this is a big mater. Now when you dehydrate these, what you're trying to do, you're trying to get out all of because tomatoes are just full of water. So what you're trying to do is get out all the water, and there's a trick to dehydrating these, okay? Again, if there is any moisture in these, what you're going to wind up getting is mold, and you don't want to do that. You want these dehydrated tomatoes, and I'll show you in just a minute. I'll just go ahead and I won't bore you to death with putting all these on here, but there's one and there's one. Okay, so we've got those slices right there. Now, make sure my hands are good and dry because I don't want to get these things wet. So let me show you something. I'm going to move the tray. Now, see the tomatoes in this jar. There's a sound. You want these things, they're crunchy. They're like potato chips. So this is extremely crunchy right here, okay? Now sometimes you're going to get a bigger one like this. If you do this, if you touch it in the middle and it squishes, it's not ready yet. You're going to have to put that right back into the dehydrator. All right, so anyway, you want them to look like that. See there? And they make this sound. It's like potato chips. Think about potato chips, how they sound, okay? So these are completely dry. There is absolutely no moisture. Now I'll be back with you, and I'm going to show you what you can do with these. After we get these dried a couple of days, I'll come back, and we're going to talk about what you can do with these dried, let's call them sun. How awesome is that? So let's go ahead and get ready for video 2, and then we'll go into a commercial break. And all of this from your own tomatoes, or if you don't have the tomatoes, you haven't raised them in your garden, go to the local farmer's market because you're going to get the absolute best produce there. Okay, so I've been drying some tomatoes, and so this is really cool because this is how it works. So I've got it dehydrated. You can do this absolutely out in the sun if you'd like to. The tomatoes have to be a crisp, okay? So they have to be completely dehydrated. So see this one right here, it's flexible, it's not working. If it's not completely dried, you could get botulism. You get really sick. So I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to give you the absolute safe way to do something with your dehydrated tomatoes and put them in olive oil. So what I've got going on right now, wipe my hands off just a second. So I have 2 quarts of water in here because what we're going to do is hydrate them again. We're going to rehydrate them. And so I'm using, I know you're thinking, oh, botulism, you're going to put these up. I'll explain that to you in just a few minutes. So the first thing we've got to do is boil 2 quarts of water, 1 cup of white vinegar. We get this to a rolling boil, and then what we're going to do is put some of these tomatoes in there. Oh, and these are awesome. There are all kinds. Listen to them. They sound like potato chips. Okay, it's hard not to just eat them like they are. But they have to be completely hardened. If not, it's got to be like down to 10% moisture. If there's just even a little bit, if I can press this in the middle and I feel any flexibility whatsoever, it's not going to work, okay? You could possibly get sick. And we want to take every possibility of that away. So anyway, right here on the stove, I've got this boiling. Now, and let me go ahead and mention this while we're waiting on this to boil. So I slice the tomatoes. I'll get like Romas, like this is what I just put in this morning. So I'll get Romas and slice those in 4 pieces. I'll slice it in the middle, and then I'll slice again. So in other words, each Roma is going to be 4 pieces. This has been, it takes about 48 hours for those to get dehydrated like I want them to in here. Again, this one's this morning, nowhere near ready. This is ready. We could throw that one in there. This one is as well. So I have several trays full of tomatoes dehydrating. Now, what can you use these things for? Oh my goodness, everything in the whole wide world. If you love pizza, you want to put these on a sandwich in the wintertime when we have no tomatoes outside, when it's just terribly cold outside. And put these in stews. They're really, really good to go in stews. Now what I'm going to do, I'll have a towel ready. And once these things start, they're in the water, they're in boiling water for 2 minutes, I'm going to put them on a towel like this, okay? And then I'm going to pat them dry in this towel. Then we're going to put them in jars, but we're going to add also some herbs. I like to use rosemary and thyme and basil, so I've got some of that. Then we're going to put a little bit of garlic salt, put that on top of them as well. And we'll put them in jars, and you know what? That'll last on your counter for like 3-4 months. If you put them in the refrigerator, they're going to last even longer. Now I'm not going to do all of these, okay? So just some of them, because I'm going to keep drying tomatoes as they're coming in. And then every few months or so, I'll get the dried tomatoes out, and I will make some more of this awesome stuff. You can put it on pizza. You can put it on everything. Eat it by itself. Again, put them on a tomato sandwich. Put them on a sandwich. Put a piece of ham. Put some mayonnaise on it. Some mustard. Maybe a little bit of lettuce. And then you'll put these tomatoes on there once we get those in olive oil. Okay? It's about to start boiling. We want it to be a rolling boil. And then we'll get that ready. Oh, and by the way, we'll also need to heat the olive oil. The olive oil needs to be at least about 100 degrees. Not hot. You don't want to like cook it or anything like that. Once these things have been dried off, again, we're going to use some olive oil. I'll pour that on top, and we're going to use the layering effect. So once I get I'm going to use little pint jars for it. So what we'll do is just put just a few pieces that have been dried, and we'll put those in the jar, and then I'll go ahead and put some of the herbs in there. Has to be dried herbs, and let me tell you why. Botulism could be a possibility if you use fresh herbs on this, okay? Has to be totally dried herbs. Some you've done yourself or whatever you can buy at the grocery store would work as well. Okay, I think we are just about to get ready to put these in there. So I'm just going to put this whole quart in there. Alright, I think we're about ready to go here. Let's go ahead. So listen to that. They have that sound to them. So what we want to do, again, we want to leave them in this boiling water only 2 minutes. Fabulous. And again, we're kind of rehydrating them again. Let's just start with this. And again, they're going to plump up now because they're going to be hydrating again. Okay, so that thin thing right there is going to plump up. Alright, let's go ahead and get this because we'll need that. Alright, let's leave this in here for 2 minutes. And you'll see the difference. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go ahead and put my timer on. Oh, they're already hydrating. Already. They're plumping up. Now, the key is we're using the vinegar. Vinegar helps to preserve. We've already used salt, and I like to use sea salt on mine. So you'll use salt when you're putting them in the dehydrator. This is and the kitchen, by the way, smells amazing. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and stop the video, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so 2 minutes, and there you go. Let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break, and we'll be right back. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
12 years. Why are you doing it? Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Okay, so we're back. Let's go ahead and finish up this video, okay? So there's number 3, and let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so now that we have hydrated all of these really neat, look at all those tomatoes. Oh, and it smells heavenly. I wish you could smell this kitchen. I mean, it is awesome. So we started out, with some of the dehydrated tomatoes. And so what we're going to do now is put them in a jar with some really good olive oil. Now, make sure you use the good stuff, okay? The extra virgin olive oil. And it makes a huge difference in how you cook and how everything turns out. This is one thing I do skimp. Now, everybody knows me. Everybody knows that. So I do skimp, but now I want to keep good product to serve my family, okay? All right, now, what we've done, we wanted to go ahead and let these dry. They're not going to dehydrate. We just want them to dry off just a lot. We want the moisture out of them. Because what we're going to do is put these in the jars. We're going to have some pint jars. It's going to be such a beautiful, beautiful setting. And so we've dehydrated these. I went on ahead and heated up just a little bit of olive oil. It needs to be somewhere around maybe 100 degrees. You need to be able to put your hands around it, basically is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go on ahead and get started with this beautiful, beautiful, man, we're going to be able to use this for so many different things. Let me go on ahead and angle this just a little bit better. Yeah, because I want to be able to show you. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. All right. Now the first thing I want to do, okay, I've got the olive oil heated, and so we're going to put this in layers, and we'll start basically with a pint jar. And we're going, oh, and let me show you something else I'm doing. I'm getting ready for the winter garden, so I've already started. Yeah, look here. There's some beans right here already sprouted. It's going to give me a jump start. So the way you do that, you'll just put your bean seeds in here, spray them down with water. Put a little paper towel over them, and then also you want to make sure you've got some of this plastic wrap, and it kind of serves as a little mini greenhouse. Okay, and now those were bush beans here, and these are green beans, and those are going to be so good. And they grow really good this time of the year in this crazy weather that we have. And haven't we had some really weird weather here lately? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up a few herbs. Now, it's important you use dried herbs. Cannot use the fresh herbs in this particular recipe, because if you do that, what's going to happen is you could possibly contaminate it as the oil mixes in with the fresh stuff. It could cause botulism, and I don't want you to get sick, okay? I don't want anything happening to you, because I got to keep you around for an extremely long time. So this is a recipe, again, you don't have to worry about it. Now I'm adding chives to mine, and these are some that I dried a couple of years ago. And so let's go ahead and put some chives in there. I'm going to mix all this stuff really good. And then I want to add, I've got a combination of rosemary, thyme, and basil. Got a little bit of basil right here too. Oh, it still smells so good. And I mean, whenever you think about, I'm going to put a little extra basil in here, but anytime you think about any kind of a tomato product, you always think about thyme and basil, don't you? I mean, it's just, that's the thing that you got to have. Let's put a little bit more basil. This is just the basil in this one, so let's go ahead and put that in there too. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, and I'll just use my fingers, I'm going to mix it up real well, and I'll probably add some more of the mixture as well. Okay, there we go. Got it mixed really good so you can see what that does. And it's got to be dried herbs, remember that. Okay, let's go ahead and get my jar ready. So what we're going to do, see, they're pliable now. Before, you remember, we put them in the dehydrator and they were like almost like a potato chip. So now they're pliable, and that's the way we want them to be. These are so good to put in soups, and you can even put them in salads. You can put it on your sandwich. Think about this winter when we don't have the tomatoes in season. Just think about that. But you and I are going to be eating tomato sandwiches with these things in here. It's going to be so good. Okay, now again, I'm going to make several layers. And remember, we used, in the water wash, what we used was, we used water, 2 quarts of water, and 1 cup of white vinegar. And you can use the store brand for that, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little layer right there. Don't overpower it, but just put some in there. Okay, then also I like to put a little bit of garlic salt in it. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. Just a little bit, won't take much, and just kind of shake it a little bit. If you could smell this, oh man, I'm thinking of pizza already. Alright, and we'll make another layer. Okay, and again, we're putting our tomatoes that we've dehydrated. So good to put in spaghetti sauce. This stuff is just super good. Anything you put vinegar in is going to prolong the life as well. Okay, let's go ahead and put some more of the herbs right there. Again, not to overpower it, but you know, to have a little bit in there. A little bit of the garlic salt, just a tiny bit. Okay, now we're not going to add the olive oil yet, so we're going to wait and get this thing in here first. And I think I'll go in a little bit heavier layers now. Okay, I think we can probably put all of this in a pint jar. Alright, I want to get around here. Let me get my little... You want to use a plastic fork, by the way. You don't want to cause your... Right there. You don't want to cause the jar to crack or break, and that could happen. Man, this smells like Italy. If this is not Italy, it's missing a good chance to be. Okay, I'm putting more in there. And again, remember these were dried from the dehydrator. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in there of the herbs. And again, I'm using some of my basil and also some chives. I'm going to put some of those in there, as well as the oregano. And then I put a group of some of these. This has rosemary, thyme, and basil. Okay, there's just a bit of that. Let's go ahead and just kind of shake the bottle just a little bit. Alright, here we are. We're just kind of peeling it off of the paper towel. Paper towel is kind of good. You want a towel to absorb, but I like to use my paper towel, and then it won't be so hard to clean, you know, like my regular towel. Oh boy, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. I can just about imagine a sandwich with this on it. Say this winter when we're all aggravated because we're having to be inside all the time and we can't be outside in the pretty sunshine. Yeah, I know, 200 degrees outside. But I'll have to tell you, I'd rather have the hot weather over the cold weather any day. Look at that. So beautiful. Again, I wish you could smell this. It's smells so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to put just a few more in there, and then I'm going to finish up because I want you to see what it's going to look like. Look at that. So this is just a bunch of different types of tomatoes that have come out of my garden. Some of these aromas. There are some pink Belgiums in here, and there are some of the big boys in there as well. I think we need to go ahead and put just a little bit more of this in here. Yeah, there we go. Let's put him in there, and put just a little bit more of that. And you can kind of pack it down just a little bit. That's okay. Okay, let's see if we can get the rest of it in here. Soil. I'm going to tell you, I've never been to Italy. I've been to the Olive Garden, the restaurant, but I've never been to Italy. If you could smell this kitchen, I would imagine an Italian kitchen smells just like this. Alright, now what we'll do, I don't have it handy, but what we'll do, I'll just kind of clean around the side just a little bit. I'm going to put a jar lid on here. I want it to be on here pretty tight. But look at this. Oh man, that is amazing. Oh, it smells so good. And again, this is your, oh man, that's so pretty. Now, I wouldn't eat it yet. I would wait at least 24 hours just to get these ingredients where they're all situated in there, and it's causing such a great smell. I mean, it's fabulous. Thank you so much for watching. Folks, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I encourage you, grow your own tomatoes. If you can't, go to your local farmer's market and you'll get the absolute best produce. I hope you enjoyed this. Looking forward to seeing you next time around.